Good evening. This is part I. Reading with me is
Olukemi Ajayi.
bringing you Newscope, our daily news program of in-depth reports, interviews, and commentaries. First, the highlights. Reps pass bill to revert to old national anthem.
Kano Assembly dethrones 5 emirs.
2024 Hajj. Oyo pilgrims commend Makinde for providing good welfare for them in Nigeria, Saudi Arabia.
9 dead as stage collapses at Mexico election rally.
Now the news of all. The House of Representatives has passed a bill to revert to the old national anthem. The bill was quickly passed through first, second and third reading within minutes. The lead debate for a return to the old anthem by the House leader, Professor Julius Evobere, pointed to the need for Nigerians to see the anthem as a national symbol and sign of authority, one which does not deny the realities. The minority leader, Kingsley Shinde, however, opposed the bill, saying the old anthem has a colonial tag, which was the reason for the new anthem. He highlighted that the old anthem was authored and composed by Britons. Mr. Shinde questioned the importance of the anthem change at the time of more important challenges in the country. However, the bill was given expedited passage and subsequently passed by the lawmakers. At the Senate, the bill scaled through first and second reading.
Kano Assembly today dissolved all the 5 emirate councils in the state, declaring Governor Abba Yusuf has the sole constitutional powers to appoint new emir. The assembly took the decision at the floor of the House during plenary today. During the sitting, the Kano State Emirate Council Amendment Bill was considered after scaling second and third reading today. Deputy Speaker Alhaji Muhammad Bello Butu explained that repealing the law would revive the lost glory of Kano as the division of Kano Emirate to 5 reduced the capacity and dignity of the state at national level. Majority Leader Alhaji Lawan Hussein Dala said the Emirate Council had served as a custodian of culture before. According to him, it was distorted by the creation of additional emirates. Speaking to journalists, the Majority Leader explained that with the amendment of the law, all the 5 emirate councils were abolished, while the Commissioner for Local Governments would serve as overseer.
Meanwhile, some operatives of the Department of State Services (DSS) were spotted at the palace of the Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Adebayero, today amid growing rumors of the Emir's imminent deposition. This development follows the passage of the Kano State Emirate Council Amendment Law Repeal Bill 2024 by the Kano State House of Assembly this morning. The Kano State Emirate Council Amendment Bill was considered on the floor of the House after scaling second and third reading. Newsmen who visited the palace around 11 a.m. saw some DSS operatives stationed in the palace. The Assembly dissolved all 4 newly created emirate councils in the state.
Former Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika and his brother Ahmed Sirika today pleaded not guilty over alleged 19.4 billion naira contracts fraud. Sirika, his brother, and a company owned by Abubakar were arraigned by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on an amended 10-count charge bordering on the offense. In the new charge filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, the former Minister of Aviation, his brother, and the company are accused of being involved in a 19.4 billion naira airport contract fraud.
In the same vein, a Federal Capital Territory High Court today admitted former Aviation Minister Hadi Sirika and his brother Abubakar to bail in sum of 100 million naira each and 2 sureties each in like sum. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) charged Sirika, his brother, and the company with 8 counts of abuse of office, criminal breach of trust, and use of position for gratification. Justice Suleiman Bagur, in his ruling on the bail applications by the defendants, held that they found merit in the bail applications. The judge adopted the terms and conditions of bail granted to the former minister in a sister case marked CR/348/2024, where the defendant is standing trial alongside his daughter and son-in-law. He later adjourned until May 28 for commencement of trial.
This broadcast of Newscope comes to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, Ibadan. The Oyo State 2024 pilgrims to Saudi Arabia have showered encomium on the state governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, for providing good welfare packages for them in Nigeria and Saudi Arabia. The pilgrims gave the commendation while speaking with the BCOS News in Saudi Arabia today. Details are presented by BCOS correspondent in Saudi Arabia, Olalekan Suleiman.
fọlọ́run adúpẹ́ fọlọ́run láwọ̀kọ́ adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gómìnà wa pé wọ́n sọ wọ́n dẹ̀ ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n ṣe ìlérí fún wa pé kankan ò ní pé lílọ tá à ń lọ yìí jíjẹ mímu wa ìrọ̀rùn yóò já sí ó dẹ̀ rí bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ọ̀sán alẹ́ àjẹun ni bẹ́ẹ̀ ni adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ alága náà
adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ààrẹ mùsùlùmí adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ alága wa o Alhaji Atẹ́rẹ́.
The state pilgrims to Saudi Arabia, Seyi Makinde, and the entire board members are one with a unique experience. Since the arrival of the state contingent to the Holy Land, things have been going on as planned, without hindrances. According to some of the pilgrims, the welfare packages from the state government through the Hajj board have been second to none, as they prayed for more blessing of Allah for Governor Seyi Makinde and the entire state in general.
Wọn lára àwọn tí ó wá sí àjọ ọdún nípasẹ̀ aláṣẹ wa gómìnà wa ọ̀gá wa Olúṣèyí wọ́n ṣe dáadáa fún wa nípasẹ̀ ààrẹ mùsùlùmí Alhaji Daud Mọ́kànjúọlá Akínọlá Dídàmàk.
Inú wa dùn púpọ̀ bá a ṣe ń dé Mọ̀dínà báyìí wọ́n ti fún wa ní rúùmù tí ẹnìkọ̀ọ̀kan wa máa lò gbogbo tá a dẹ̀ máa lò pátá ló wà níbẹ̀ a dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run fàṣeyọrí eléyìí Ọlọ́run á túbọ̀ máa ràn yín lọ́wọ́ ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́.
The state chairman, Pilgrim Welfare Board, Muslim Wing, Sheikh Hashim Atere, who just led in the last batch of the state pilgrims to Medina, Saudi Arabia, also expressed gratitude to Allah, Governor Seyi Makinde, and other stakeholders who are working for the success of the program.
Alhamdulillah, we are now in Medina. All our pilgrims here, they are doing fine. Our first batch are moving now from Medina to Mecca today, and second batch tomorrow, and third batch inshallah Saudi inshallah.
The chairman, however, sought for more cooperation from the pilgrims.
I want to appreciate them for their support, their understanding, for their cooperation. I thank them, and I want to implore them to continue, and I want to appreciate our governor for usual support.
You have heard from the horse's mouth as the pilgrims express excitement on the kind of support they've been enjoying from the Oyo State government in Saudi Arabia. From Medina, Saudi Arabia, Olalekan Suleiman, BCOS News.
President Bola Tinubu has directed a total and comprehensive review of the recently announced governing boards of tertiary institutions in Nigeria before the inauguration and retreat being planned for the nominees. This was disclosed today by the President's Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, in a State House release titled President Tinubu Directs Comprehensive Review of Governing Boards of Tertiary Institutions. Ononuga said the nominations did not reflect the federal character of the country, as some states got just one nomination, while some others got many. Tinubu had approved the appointment of at least 555 persons to serve as pro-chancellors and chairmen and members of governing boards of 111 federal universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education.
Reactions have continued to trail the planned implementation of the Student Loan Act 2024. Recall, the Managing Director of the Nigeria Education Loan Fund, Akintunde Sawyer, recently stated that the scheme will commence on Friday with 1.2 million beneficiaries in federal tertiary institutions across the country. Our reporter, Grace Fadaini, examines the viability of the implementation of the Student Loan Act scheme.
In fulfillment of his promise to revitalize the educational sector in Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu recently signed the Student Loans and Access to Higher Education Act and Reenactment Bill 2024 into law. The student loan program will provide loans to qualified Nigerian students for tuition fees, charges, and upkeep during their studies in approved public tertiary institutions. This, according to the president, is to ensure that no Nigerian, regardless of their background, is excluded from obtaining quality education. The long-awaited scheme, which is scheduled to take off on the 24th of May 2024, with 1.2 million students in federal tertiary institutions across the country, will also expand to vocational and skills acquisition establishments in the country. While reactions continue to trail the implementation of the student loan scheme, some students in the country expressed their opinions on the new scheme.
We all understand the situation of Nigeria now. After 2 years, they said 2 years after NYSC. Many people don't even secure jobs after 2 years after NYSC. So how do you, and I'm very sure that it's going to be strict. Payments is going to be strict. They are not going to take excuses. So it doesn't concern anybody if you don't have a job that can pay back after 2 years. And you just have to struggle and look for the money.
My opinion about the act is that because of this kind of country where we are, the economy is failing. And it doesn't look feasible. It doesn't look like it's something that is going to bring good returns at the end of the day.
In a chat with BCOS News, a social commentator, Mr. Tunde Laniyo, emphasized that the act is a welcome development that will be of good importance to the Nigerian students. He further maintained that anyone found guilty of misusing the purpose of the scheme should be severely dealt with.
It's a very, very welcome development. We must remember that Nigeria used to have the Students' Loans Board. We benefited from it. Tertiary level, it costs quite a lot to put a student through school. Students should be helped, should be encouraged, as the loan scheme seems to do in its fashioning, to be able to go to school if they desire, that they see this as an advantage, as a support system that they must use well and not corrupt and not participate in its corruption, so that others coming behind them, apart from them, can also benefit from this thing.
In the same vein, a public affairs analyst, Comrade Femi Babalola, noted that the implementation of the student loan scheme is a laudable development in the country. He, however, noted his optimism in the extension to state-owned tertiary institutions.
It's a very good idea. It will even encourage many students who are really struggling to go to school to be able to get their feet on ground. It's not bad at all. Whether scholarship, whether loan, whether grant, if everything could be used, it will serve as an avenger of success onto the student. So it will really relieve students of whatever hardship they are going to, even the parents. But what we need to think about is the modus operandi.
As the scheme is set to commence soon, experts have maintained that with these developments, the educational sector in the country is expected to navigate in the best direction. Grace Fadayini, BCOS News.
The Oyo State House of Assembly Committee on Security and Strategy continues its mission towards ensuring effective working relationship between the state government and various security agencies. The committee this time around visited the Oyo State Commands of the Nigeria Police Force (NPF), National Drug Law Enforcement Agency NDLEA, and the Department of Security Services DSS. Staff reporter Adebayo Abdurafi has the details of the visit.
The Oyo State House of Assembly Committee on Security and Strategy had earlier in the course of the working visit visited the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps NSCDC and Nigeria Immigration Service NIS. Speaking at the Eleyele headquarters of the State Police Command, the Speaker of Oyo State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Adebo Ogundoyin, lauded the police for its efforts at reducing and preventing crimes in Oyo State. He singled out the police prompt response to the recent invasion of the state secretariat by Yoruba agitators. The Speaker disclosed that the purpose of the visit is to open a channel of communication between the Nigerian police and the state legislature. Said the constitutional amendments as
security agencies that are collaborating in their effort to secure the states, that the Nigerian police force has been like a cement for. So we're very happy with what we've heard, and then we've also gotten other commitments from the police force that they are also even further committed to not just collaborating with the security agencies, but collaborating with various stakeholders across the states to ensure that our borders remain safe, and internally the people, the citizens, the lives and properties remain very safe.
The Oyo State Commissioner of Police, Adebola Amzat, in his remarks appreciated the Oyo State House of Assembly for the working visit, as he reiterated the commitment of the force to its duty of protecting the citizenry.
And we know very well that everything they've been able to do for us, buying of equipment, buses and so on, had been with the seal of the House of Assembly. So they have been collaborating, and they have promised to continue to collaborate. Normally, you know that Olivers will always ask for more. So we're asking for more support so that we can still be better. There's a room for improvement. We can still be better than what we are doing presently.
At the Jericho headquarters of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, the Speaker called for synergy between the agency and the state legislative arm to come up with legislation that could help in curbing drug abuse and trafficking in the state. Right Honorable Ogundoyin reiterated the need for all hands to be on deck to check the excesses in use of drugs, particularly to safeguard the future of young generations.
People will commit heinous crimes, heinous acts, without thinking about the repercussion because they are under the influence of the drugs. So the drugs we're not just concerned about the criminal aspect of it, but the day-to-day moral decision-making of the teeming youth.
Responding, the State Commander, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Olayinka Joe Fadile, who said that the agency is blessed with capable men and officers, solicited the continued support of the state government for more logistics.
In NDLA, we always say that drug is a catalyst to every crime, whether violent or not. If people are not under the influence of drugs, they cannot perpetuate the crimes they commit. Drugs will remove every moral inhibition and open you to crimes that after the drugs wear off, when you look at what you've done, you'll be surprised.
The chairman of the committee, Honorable Daoud Olalere, had earlier stated that youth engagement in drug usage and trafficking is very alarming. He therefore charged the agency to improve on the level of awareness and sensitization on the danger associated with the menace. At the Department of State Security Service, the Speaker, Right Honorable Ogundoyin, charged the State Director of DSS to be at alert concerning the rumor making the rounds that the Yoruba agitators are preparing for another attack. High point of the visitations was the exchange of gifts with the various security agencies' leaderships. Adebayo Abdurafi, BCOS News.
We have disturbing news from abroad. An election rally in northern Mexico descended into tragedy after a gust of wind sent the stage careening into the crowd on Wednesday night, killing at least 9 people, including a child. According to Nuevo León Governor Samuel Garcia, at least 50 other people were injured in the accident. Footage of the incident showed a chaotic scramble as people screamed and tried to leap away from the collapsing structure, while the lights and the giant screen toppled onto the area where presidential candidate George Alvarez Maynez and members of his citizens Movement Party were standing. Speaking to the press from the scene of the accident in the town of San Pedro Garza Garcia, he described the accident as a tragedy. Presidential longshot Maynez, who escaped being without serious injury, said the stage collapsed after a strong gust of wind.
To end this edition of Newscope, here again are the highlights. The House of Representatives has passed a bill to revert to old national anthem. The bill was quickly passed through first, second, and third reading within minutes.
Kano Assembly today dissolved all the 5 emirate councils in the state, declaring Governor Abba Yusuf as sole constitutional power to appoint new emir.
Oyo State's 2024 pilgrims to Saudi Arabia have showered encomiums on the state governor, Engineer Sheikh Makinde, for providing good welfare packages for them in Nigeria and Saudi Arabia.
An election rally in northern Mexico descended into tragedy after a gust of wind sent the stage careening into the crowd on Wednesday night, killing at least 9 people, including a child.
That all from Newscope Desk. It was packaged by Eniola Adiaga and delivered by
Olukemi Ajayi.
And I am Pat Aito. Thank you so much for listening, and do not forget to tune in for the Yoruba version at 8 o'clock this evening.